Hello, I am with Vishal Menon, and today we are going to be discussing the movie Aavesham. Starring Fahadh Faasil, and I'll let Vishal take care of all the technicalities, right?
Yeah.
And I have been reviewing for about 5 years now, but today is the first time I'm a little tensed because we are discussing Malayalam cinema, which is all about depth and subtext and all of that thing. So we need two reviewers to discuss it. That's how deep it is. So what do you think of the movie, Vishal?
Bro, I had a great time. It is a crazy good time, and I saw the first day for show here in Kochi, and the first half of that movie is the absolute male fantasy. Okay, it's not the fantasy of buying a Ferrari or buying a Lamborghini or anything. That's not the male fantasy. It's not about marrying Pamela Anderson. That's not it. This is it, bro. Because everybody's been to college, everybody's been to school. One senior has abused us, whacked us, insulted us, and that dream of coming back and giving it back to that dude. And I can remember the guy's face who, when I was watching the movie, I'm thinking about the guy who I wanted to attack, So, and I also thought about the gangster I would like to be friends with. You get it? Correct. So it's the absolute male fantasy, and it's amazing how they just slowly build up into that particular interval block, right? And I want you to tell me about it because it's real adrenaline, right? As a Telugu movie fan, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, no, actually, that's something even I had written in my notes that it is, I thought it was this new breed of Malayalam movies that are unabashedly stylish. Like they are very confident, assured in their tone and their aesthetics, and they're going with it. Whether it was Minnal Murli or RDX or that other movie with a complicated name. I don't want to say it and get hatred from Malayalam people. But you know what I'm talking about, right? So I thought it was like that. It had a very distinct, so it was very different from the usual Malayalam movies, if I can say that. It was just out there. And I do agree that it was a bit of a male fantasy because it seemed a little like Woody Allen-ish, the movie, the first half, right? Woody Allen movies have this like strange, fantastical situations, right? Like you go into a museum and it's the past. Not that much, but it was like that you go to a college, there's a gangster, and he becomes your friend. And so you start hanging with the cool people. So it had that. And I like that. And
that also happens in a bar.
And also I enjoyed, as somebody who reviews Telugu films, I enjoyed all the typical things that I associate with Malayalam movies, which is a song with a montage in a bar where people are drinking and it's a cheap bar. Like I feel like the Kerala Censor Board does not allow films to be made if they don't have a drinking scene or a wedding feast scene, right? Yeah. Of course, people are going to give me a lot of hatred about saying Kerala Censor Board. I apologize, comrades, right? but you know what I mean. I like that. It was comforting, and also I had a sort of, so I didn't go to the movie watching even the trailer. I wanted to go completely with a fresh mind. But I did have a feeling of where the film is going to go tonally.
Yeah.
Because I have this theory, and I could be completely wrong. But I feel like whenever Anwar Rashid and Fahadh Faasil work together, Fahadh Faasil is concentrating on having fun. So his performances in these like trance also.
Yeah.
He was just in his elements. And even in this movie, he's in his elements. Right? And so I like that because I would have been a little iffy if it was again artistic and depth and all, because like people have written articles about his eyes and his
some asshole, I'm sure. Yeah.
And how like his nostrils are like a painting and his eyelashes are like, but in this it was like a Telugu film, like I said, like the treatment, right? And I really enjoyed what Fahadh was doing in the movie, and I enjoyed the first half quite a bit, but I did have issues with the second half. Which do you want to go into that?
That's the same, bro. Because to an extent, I remember having this thought maybe 15-20 minutes into after the interval, thinking that okay, they've run out of the plot. They got the film okay, they started making the film because till the interval it's absolute perfect. After that, what do you do with it? You get it? The only plot, and I was really hoping they don't bring back that Mansoor Ali Khan character and all that, because we know nothing about that guy. You can't randomly bring him back and think that, okay, anything interesting is going to happen. But they bring it back and it's not done properly, and that whole confusion about how do we get out of this situation, right? That's a classic, like almost like a film noir kind of plot. You know, because, oh, you get in like Goodfellas, right? You get into the gang and then you're trying to get out of the gang. Of course, this is done in a very subtle, funny, like dark comedy situation. But then that's the regular plot, right? I felt like they should have found something that goes to the next level.
Yes.
Did you feel that?
I felt the same. I felt that as well. I felt like the ingenuity of the first half kind of, it settled for a little generic nature of writing, at least in the second half, because I knew that, look, Fahadh Faasil has produced the movie, or whatever, his wife has produced the movie. So obviously he'll take a meaty role, right? Obviously he'll take a role that has some flashback, some background, some arc, some sort of transformation. So I did kind of expect that, okay, now things are going to, like, you know, get terrible, get bad, and these guys have to escape. So with the writing of the second part, I was a little iffy about it.
And I just to add a point there, I felt like that moment, right, when, I mean, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but then when you realize that he's not a fool, he's a real gangster. I felt that moment didn't blow up, even though you half expected, because you've already got that scene where they chip the paint off the wall and you kind of realize that he is the real deal. Then I didn't feel like that you need one more scene that shows that he's the real deal.
Correct.
Then it just becomes a regular fight scene.
Correct.
So if that paint splicing scene wasn't there, and you're just discovering this guy you've been joking around with, like you think he's a fool, because in all the Basha type of movies, he's a coward who just becomes a superstar, right?
Correct.
In this, he's a fool. Like, okay, he could have killed people, but you're not taking him seriously. But for that to transform, for that opener scene to come back, that should have been an explosive Telugu movie level moment.
Correct. Yeah, it should have been like one of those Rajamouli
scenes.
You know, but yeah, that didn't work out. But I also feel like maybe they consciously didn't go there because the eventual ending is also subversion. So I feel like it was one of those tricky calls they had to take, that if they had to make these scenes like RRR, then that ending might probably not have gelled well with it. So I kind of get it, because it was a tricky movie to place tonally, right? But the second half, I'm so sorry if like a lot of people hate the fact that reviewers talk about in terms of first half and second half. But my argument is always like, our films are structured like that. How can you not talk about it? So in the second half, I felt like the writing was a little predictable. And also, I feel like I always try to kind of find logical loopholes generally as a person. And there were many points, if their life was really under threat, they could have just gone home.
Yeah.
You know, when you're 18 and 19, final refuge is home.
Right?
No, but they address that. There's a dialogue where they say they can very easily come home also. They address that, but what do you say? Going to the Tumkur didn't feel like such a big solution or anything of that sort.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't know. With the writing, I had some problems with the second half, but I liked a few things about the movie. I liked that
Damsharat scene.
Huh?
Damsharat scene.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. And also, I watched it with a lot of Malayalam people around me, because it had a limited release in Hyderabad. And so I felt like I was losing out on a lot of jokes because I was going by the subtitles. And the guy next to me was I don't know, he was maybe a huge Fahadh Faasil fan. And he was laughing very loudly at everything. And as somebody who's obsessed with jokes, I was feeling like FOMO, you know, I'm like, shit, what is it that I'm not able to understand? So I felt that, but then I did notice a definite dip in the energy, in the second half, in the hall also. It's something I do when I review movies. Generally, just before the climax, I always turn around and look at everybody behind me. And that will give you the most honest picture of what people think of the movie. Yeah. So I was saying that while the writing didn't really shine in the second half, I was overall okay with that, because I felt like it was a Malayalam film that was okay being playful. That was okay being, I don't want to use the word shallow, but not every film has to be life transforming and, and I feel like with Fahadh there is the pressure. I think the most among all Malayalam people, Fahadh carries that burden, that cross, of taking art forward. But I like that in this movie he just said no, fuck that, and he just like had fun. And you can see that when he kind of, I don't know, this is not very review-like, and I just keep giving disclaimers, but it was like when he's having fun, you can see it in his eyes, right? You can see, you can understand that he's having fun and he's just going crazy, right? So this was one of those movies that I felt that I last felt that in Trance, right? Where they were very similar, both of these movies, that they just like were a little wild, and I actually liked Trance more than most people did because I thought it was very inventive. So there was that. There is that Fahadh Faasil. It's not the Fahadh Faasil, the artistic one, but like the Telugu Fahadh Faasil, if I may say that.
And even if you see the same director's previous movie, right, the second half is a very settled second half. It's not like it's a horror comedy, right? It's not like a movie where the ghost comes into their lives and tells you its origin story of anything of that sort. It's a very settled second half, and you're just so happy to be there because you love the characters. Which is what I felt about this also. So even when you feel like the movie's losing that amazing energy of the first half, you still love the three boys, right? They're so much fun, they're so cool. And like they're all like superstar gamers. They've got like 1 million followers and all that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not like random kids who from audition. They're all like, apparently Fahadh was saying in an interview that when they were shooting in Bangalore, they have to stop the shoots because one of the boys has more fans than Fahadh.
I liked among the boys. Which kid did you like the most?
I like the famous one, Hipszter, the guy with the long hair.
Correct. I, maybe because of my bias towards comedy and because that guy got like most of the jokes, I like the guy with the nose ring.
Who creates the issue?
Yeah, I'm sorry about not knowing the names. Please.
I'm also confused. I because they are just first time actors. I don't know their name. I just know the Hipszter guy's name.
But I felt like towards the second half, like the gaps begin to become more visible, right? And it is something that I see a lot of films actually go through, in the sense that after a point, like the inventiveness just runs out a little bit. But overall, I would say it's a movie I was okay with. It is not necessarily something you will take back home and, it will not teach you any morals in life. But it is just refreshing to see Fahadh Faasil do what he did, like jump off buildings and jump off jump on cars and go all batshit crazy like Jack Nicholson with the door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how long it takes to break that door, right? It takes like half an hour to break down that door.
Yeah, and I also liked that they kind of tweaked the idea of the villain, right? And that was very intelligently done. Because in a city like Bangalore, you cannot have those typical villains anymore, right? It's an IT city and there is CCTV cameras, right? So you can't have a guy who is just going around killing people. It'll just be ridiculous. So they had this guy very smartly who has, had his own Bhishma Pratigya about not killing. I mean, I'm sorry if that's also a spoiler, but he's
taken a vow.
He's taken a vow against violence. So that was smartly done. And also like Fahadh, he's like not an all-powerful villain. He still has some issues, like he still has some fears. He's like, no, blood will spill too much, be careful. That was a very like modern telling of a villain, because if you see most of villains, at least in Telugu cinema, they are still the villains from the 80s and 90s, in the sense that their operations are still the same, right? But you can't do that in Bangalore in today's time. So I think that was smartly done.
And I love that scene, that scene when he picks up that phone call, that KGF ringtone, and it's the call from that boy's mom. And when that mom is bullshitting and saying Ranga's like a brother to him, older brother to him, and the expression change in Fahadh, and suddenly he's got so much depth, right? He's not a silly character. He's assuming the role of an older brother.
Yeah.
That's why it works so well when he's worried, no, when these three boys go missing. So it's not a silly movie that way also. No? It's got a little bit of depth, emotion and sentiments and...
No, but I'll tell you, like from as a Telugu movie watcher, I could see those things coming from a mile away because we have terms like mother sentiment, right? Brother sentiment. So you know that as a writer, if you have planted it over there, there is going to be a payoff there. So I knew. So that was my problem with the second half, that you could kind of predict where it was going. However, I will maintain that I was surprised in the final. So the director had at least one trick up his sleeve in the end to kind of salvage the whole thing. So I like that. But yeah, my overall opinion on the movie would be that it is a light movie. It is probably trying to say that, hey man, Malayalam films can also be light on their feet. And
Most of them are, yeah.
Oh, sorry, then maybe I'm watching all the depressing stuff.
You're watching all the depressing stuff.
All the artistic.
You've seen Artist Jeevitham and then obviously you'll think that's what Malayalam cinema is, right? Yeah.
Okay, cool. And like, if I can digress a little bit, what is the talk generally about the movie in like?
Very positive. It's been yeah. Even Varshangalki Shesham, the other movie that released along with this, this thing has been very good. I watched that movie also, and I had a damn good time watching that as well. So it's been a very good Vishu release, Vishu Eid weekend.
Yeah. No, I feel like the whole last month has been good for Malayalam cinema.
This year.
This year. Yeah, actually. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is just an addition in the buffet, and it's a light addition. Like it's not sushi, but it's like a nice gajar halwa. So yeah, it was a nice movie, and thank you so much. Thank you, Vishal, for allowing me to review this movie. So
it was a blast. We are so happy that when we have a mass movie that Telugu people like you are liking it and enjoying it, at least to an extent.
Correct. No, I feel actually liberated because all the hate comments will come to you, Vishal, and so I'm just visiting guest. All right, thank you so much. I hope you liked our review. We can't even call it a review. It's like an analysis or a discussion about the movie. And please, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to Film Companion South on YouTube by pressing the bell icon. Thank you.